My name is Gary Blatto-Vallee, and I'm presenting my literature review topic. My topic is the history or background of deaf and hard of hearing students' mathematical achievement. This is important to me personally because I teach deaf and hard of hearing students, and I teach them in developmental math courses. And by developmental math course, I have to define that, for me anyways. These are students who have not progressed past Algebra 1, freshman year math in high school. Or if they have progressed, by their transcripts, they no longer have or possess those, they can't demonstrate those skills now when they get to in college. I teach at the National Technical Institute for the Deaf at the Rochester Institute of Technology, so NTID at RIT. So when I first started working with deaf and hard of hearing students some 20 years ago, I didn't realize, I was unaware of this mathematical achievement gap that was so prevalent for deaf students. And as a math teacher, I value math, but in general, algebra has been correlated with higher level mathematics and has been correlated with college course taking success outside of mathematics even. I mean, algebra is the gateway towards higher level mathematics. Currently, and for the past maybe 15, 20 years, we have been pouring a lot of resources into increasing our STEM field involvement for American students and American people. And you can see here that hearing people are about 83 times more likely than deaf or hard of hearing people to enter into STEM careers. So a deaf and hard of hearing person, their earning potential, the types of careers they may enter into is hampered, or it's affected negatively by this mathematical achievement gap. Now, this gap is not just in the U.S. It is in the U.S. also, but also in Norway, Japan, Scotland, Ireland, wherever there are deaf students in an educational system, there is a mathematical achievement gap. Now, deaf children once this gap is measured, it stays pretty consistent throughout their schooling. It doesn't widen, it doesn't narrow. Now, some may think that for some reason deafness could cause, or there's maybe a comorbidity factor with deafness having a math achievement gap issue. But when you control for all other salient factors, deafness does not explain any significant additional variation in mathematical achievement scores. Intervention is possible, and it has been explored through several studies after studies that would research the gaps in a deaf child's knowledge in their informal mathematics, the mathematics you learn as a kid before you come to school, before formal schooling. Nunes and Moreno designed an intervention that focused on those skills. And when their intervention was implemented and done, 68% of those students outperformed their previously predicted scores on this Nelson Age Appropriate Achievement Test. Pagliaro and Kreitzer in the U.S. designed an intervention that focused on the parents of deaf and hard of hearing children, and they provided them tools for the parents to incorporate mathematical language into their everyday interaction. Now, for us, when we think of as a hearing person having a hearing child, just tell me what the math concepts are, and I can talk about them. But when you have hearing parents with deaf children, if you think of communication as like the triangle of Maslow's triangle, mathematical conceptual discussion or math concepts are pretty far up there. You're trying to get through basic needs, communication, understanding your child. So while we may say, why would you have to teach them mathematical language? You have to teach the parents the mathematical language, how to make it visually clear for their deaf child. Now, my review journey. This is not a topic that I started looking into at the beginning of this course. I've been working with deaf and hard of hearing students for about 20 years, and I've been a part of several grant-funded research projects. I've been involved in writing several articles on tertiary issues to mathematics, but this is my own area that I'm looking at now for myself. So I've seen these articles, I've collected them for quite a while, and I'm just tying them all together now in this literature review to use as I go through my PhD program here. Now, in my experience, I've seen intervention studies focusing on deaf and hard of hearing children, preschool age, early years in school, but we still don't understand how to teach deaf and hard of hearing college-aged students in a way that will help them close this gap. What happens is that we teach these students the way we would teach any other students, but we just teach them at their current level. So if they're 3 courses behind, we're teaching them what they should have had 3 courses ago, but the same way and in the same time frame. And often we don't end up closing the gap. Usually deaf students will pick a different career, they'll change their goals. Few of them, of deaf and hard of hearing students who are in developmental math courses go on to go into STEM careers. Even where I work at RIT, a lot of students will change their course program in accordance with where they are maxing out in their math courses. We don't know how to change that. We don't know how to give them the best opportunity where they're making choices based on their interests and not on what they're unable to pass. Thank you very much.